continuing our theme of being the same, we were saying we're used to getting emails that we were hoping it would come in. That came in because we are at work. Each of us are at our jobs. I'm in my office. She's in her office. I love it. But no, I'm doing a lot more red carpets these days.
Oh, fun.
I'm trying to elevate my job and my company and get out there more. So I'm
Good.
doing a red carpet for a cancer event that Fran Drescher is throwing later this month. It'll be at the Grove in LA, which I'm very excited. It's in the Grove. The parking there is horrible, but we're gonna go over there. We go over there and do that. And then I'm doing the Young and the Restless 13,000th episode the next day.
Wow.
The red carpet event. We're gonna do a whole event at Television
Nice.
City. And I'm excited. So it's all later this month. So I hired Flobo to be my cameraman for one of them.
Nice.
Very excited. And one of the girls I want to come on here, she's busy at work. My girl Tammy Govea, who's my co-host of my other show. She and I are gonna do the Young and Restless together. So we're gonna do that show together. Me and Flo are gonna do the other show together. So I'm trying to get out there. I get invited to red carpets all the time. I'm not a big fan of them because it's lots of pushing and shoving, or whatever, but you can get great interviews. I'm trying to work my way to prime time. I'm trying to work it out, girls.
Yeah.
So I'm always
They'd be
invited.
lucky to have you on prime time. I think you'd be awesome.
Thank you. I just I want to
I
move it
mean,
up.
if I were walking down, I'd be like, oh, I want to talk to him. He looks like fun.
See, that's what I'm hoping. I've conquered daytime, so now I'm like, now I kind of want to go. And as we're here, I do want to mention we had a bunch of deaths happen this last weekend,
I
a
know.
gaggle of them, but I just want to mention a few just because they were kind of Dame Maggie Smith.
Yes.
So for me, it's just, everybody, I know everybody's like, Harry Potter, but for me, it was Sister Act. That was my girl, Sister Act.
Oh,
Um,
so much though. She
and
did so
Downton
much
Abbey,
great television.
and Downton Abbey.
Yeah. Which it was funny. I read that she had said, no one knew me before Downton Abbey came knocking on my door. Then everybody knew who I was, and she didn't like it.
I
She
know.
much preferred theater.
Isn't that funny?
So I thought that was interesting. Here's this great actress
Mm,
who has given us so much,
not so much.
and she didn't want to be famous.
Nope. I know folks who are like that. They don't want to be famous. They're doing it because they just love doing it.
They're actors. That's it.
They make money.
That's their job.
They
Yeah.
make money. They don't want to do that stuff. I totally get it. So I want to be famous though.
I know you. Well, you are. You always
I
are.
am sorry. People know me. They know who I is. But so there's her. My
Yeah.
guy from Days of Our Lives, John Black, Jake
I
Hogan.
saw that.
And people are
Yeah.
like, even I didn't watch the show, but I knew who he was. Like it was like him and DJ Marlene. It's like I know. I was like he was I really felt that loss. Actually, I was kind of like, wow.
Oh,
I've been a Days of Our Lives fan since 1983. So over 40 years.
yeah.
And he came on in 86. And I met him. I got to interview him. He's one of my first interviews I ever did in the business.
Oh,
And he was very
nice.
sweet. He was very sweet, folks. I mean, no, seriously, he was a team player. Like
Mm.
he was like, I work for Days of Our Lives and I'm a team player. And he said I did a good interview with him. He was very sweet. So I got to meet him and he was really wonderful. So that was like he passed away. One of the actors from Beverly Hills Cop died. I just watched the fourth one. He was in it. He came back for the fourth one and he passed away.
How
Uh,
about Chris
and
Christopherson?
Chris started. No, I was getting there. I was next. I'm like, that's the man. I was like, for me, it's A Star Is Born. So I mean,
Yes.
I'm just like,
It was 1976.
yep,
We were feeling it. It was
yes,
a huge hit. Barbara was like at her prime, I believe, with
yes,
her
she was, she
voice.
was, she was.
Um,
And actually,
Big
in the
time.
movie, they sing Evergreen together. The song she won an Oscar for, she wrote, "You and I can make each night a first, every day a beginning." Yeah,
That's pretty good.
I know. I pulled it out right now. I just pulled that
Well,
out.
and folks, just so you know why I said, "Oh, that's pretty good." James was hungover this morning, and
Yes,
he's still singing,
I
so that's
feel.
pretty good.
I tried to on this show once. I'll showcase my voice. I am a singer. I have a new album coming out actually soon too. But yeah, but they were. She had her fro, curly fro, and he had that
Mm.
hair, and he was
They
hot.
had that great. They were both bare on top, and they
Yes.
had that great like how he like was holding her, and she had
Yes.
her chin on his.
Oh,
It was perfect.
it's
It
perfect.
was so perfect.
So, folks, if you've not seen That Star Is Born, you should see it. It's really good.
Oh yeah.
And everybody's like Lady Gaga. That was good too, but I'm saying But actually, there's like 4 Stars Born. This is
Judy Garland wasn't
God,
Judy
yep.
Garland the first?
Yes, she
I
was
think.
Garland. So I'm saying there's several of them, but this was a good one. And some good music in it. But I just remember him growing up. My brother was like, "Oh yeah, Chris Christopherson." He was also in The Highwaymen, which came out in the '80s. I was a big fan of. It was him, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings. I forgot what the fourth one was. I was a big fan of that
Yeah.
album. I was a big fan.
He
I
was
like some. Yes,
highly intelligent,
yes,
and decided to write songs for a living
yep.
and sing, as opposed to having another career in education, because there were folks who were big time institutions wanting him to teach
Yeah.
at their college. So
And
yeah.
apparently he was. I forgot he was the one who consoled Sinead O'Connor when she was booed on stage. I forgot about that. That he
Oh.
came up to her and like was consoling her. And I guess People Magazine revealed what he said to her. I guess because I never knew what he said to her. Like he consoled her and he kind of hugged her and he helped her walk off stage when they were booing her.
Oh.
So I don't know, but she's dead. She's gone now too herself. So I mean, she's not here either. So it's kind of weird that our icons and they're going. I mean, we're at that age.
And for sports fans, Pete Rose died.
Pete Rose died. Controversial figure, folks.
Absolutely.
I know
Yeah.
folks were like, put him in the Hall of Fame. Like, who
Yeah.
cares? Now he deserves to be in it. And others still say no because he betted on baseball.
Broke the rules. Yeah.
But
Yeah, he died. That came across the newswire this morning. I was like, oh.
And that's not funny.
A lot of people dying right now. It's just crazy.
Yeah, but they're all at that. They're all at that age. I mean, they're all up there. I mean, they're all.
Yeah.
Also for basketball, was it baseball or basketball?
Oh no, basketball.
Yes. What's his name? He died too.
Yeah.
Yes,
God, I'm trying to think of the name.
It's one of the African names, but he passed away also. He was somebody who passed away also. I'm like, there's a lot going on, folks. I mean, there's a lot going on. So, like we said, you don't know. You're not promised tomorrow, so just get out there and just work it out.
Live today. Live your day today.
I saw something the other day. It was insurance related. I'll tell you really briefly. It was, I forgot what it was. I was running across. I'm online looking at TikTok, whatever, just running across something, and somebody was in insurance in California. I forgot his name. I didn't know him. I didn't know who he was. Was talking about all these regulations, what insurance is not covering. We always talk about this off and on this show too. But for me, it's interesting to see it on a TikTok, or whatever it was, or an Instagram reel. And he was just saying, he's like, get out of California. I don't know if that's the answer that I would say. So I see your face. But some people are saying it to me. They're like going, well, James, it's in other states, we do cover this, we cover that, and blah, blah, and what's going on. So I mean, so what do you say to that? People say like, leave LA, leave California, get out of here.
I think for me, I never leave a place that I love.
Right.
There's always a workaround. And I think that us in California with this fire insurance crisis, and it's a crisis level, we're not playing games anymore.
Oh, no, I see that. It's like, yeah.
I think that we're going to have to adjust to being paid less, or we're not going to just have all the coverage that we used to have. We will have to adjust to the new normals that are coming. To be able to afford some level of insurance, right? And if you love California, don't let insurance run you out of the state. Right. There are plenty of other reasons to leave. If it's on the list, insurance shouldn't, in my humble opinion, should not be the top 3 to leave California. Because you know what? The statistics are, there are other states that are paying, even before the crisis, a lot more for their home and auto insurance. And we don't know that.
Right.
But when they publish these statistics, it's like, oh, we're not that bad. We're like kind of in the middle of the pack. Now that's all changing because of the fire insurance crisis that we're experiencing now. So I do believe we'll, climb up the ladder you don't want to climb up.
yeah. Like that.
We don't want to be like the most expensive state. And that's what I honestly say to folks. But look, it's real. The insurance companies are really still losing. I mean, look at Hurricane. Is it Helena?
Yeah, Helena. This one, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I have to say something. I was like, ugh, these news outlets, they're just making this up. Like they're just blowing this thing out of proportion. It's a biblical proportions. And I'm like, okay,
they were saying a storm we've never
whatever,
known before, like that kind of stuff. Yes.
whatever. So wrong over here. Like the massive destruction of this storm. Folks, that's all the carriers that you and I are paying premiums to. They're on that stuff too.
Yeah.
So I think we just forget in California because we're so focused on, oh my God, fire, fire. Like there are hailstorms and windstorms and everything else happening all around us
Yeah.
that the same insurance companies are paying
Yeah.
out on. And so when you look at it from that context, you're like, yeah, okay, I get it. My premium is going up. Premiums are going to keep going up. There's no
But
doubt
funny,
in my mind.
and funny also, I thought about you guys too, just that, we've had earthquakes almost every week.
I know. And they're like 3 point something. Like, what? I didn't feel anything.
At the same time, I didn't feel that one either. I was like, I didn't feel that. But then I feel some of them and I don't feel others.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, but we're almost every single week now, we're having one or two earthquakes per week.
Yeah.
That's a little scary.
It is. The earth is always moving, but when it burps, you pay attention to the burp.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. So I'm just wondering for insurance, maybe for earthquake insurance. I mean, what's that? Is that doing anything for insurance for earthquake and stuff, or is that
It has to be a more significant magnitude for there to be a moratorium.
okay?
Like they hold new business, obviously, for usually a 30 to 45 day period of time. But if it's like 3 point something, there are no moratoriums. And I would encourage people because everything is shifting, everything is changing with the earth.
Literally.
If you're an earthquake country, buy some level of earthquake insurance for yourself. If you're in wind driven territory, make sure you've got the proper wind endorsement on your policy. It's like we have to, and flood insurance, flooding is happening everywhere.
Oh, I was in a flood myself. I know exactly what's happening. I know.
Right? Los Angeles doesn't have flooding, but now we have flooding. And so, as the earth is just changing, we need to pay a little bit more attention to. I, as an insurance professional, had bought flood insurance one time when it was like biblical proportions. The sky's going to open. It's going to be 15 inches in an hour. So everyone bought flood insurance that year. Of course, everyone canceled it.
Yes. Yeah.
When the storm wasn't as big as they were saying, which is why I'm so biased against the news. But they got this one right.
Yeah,
this hurricane.
I know.
I mean, there are hundreds of people are going to end up dead.
I know. No, I know.
They keep bringing up the death toll. I'm like, wow,
no joke.
So scary.
No joke. No, you said something that I really think. Sorry, I was going to educate you guys a little bit, but you said something that I think is really important. Is that even if you're a renter, I had renter's insurance.
Yeah,
comes in handy. You just trust me. I've had insurance come in handy for me 3 separate times in my life.
Good, yeah.
Unexpected, as normally it is. Unexpected times. And I remember the last time we had the flood, and my mom had no idea. She was like, "What?" I go, "You have insurance, right?" "Yes." "Okay, girl. Let me tell you what you do." We went. I talked to her all the my experience helped on that one, but she was like so amazed at what we were offered and how this. I go, "That's all you pay for that. That's pay for." You paid the price for that. I mean, like folks, you don't know you don't know until it happens to you. Like you literally don't know until it happens to you. And I think we get a little lackadaisical a little bit sometimes. We as people, things happen because it's not something you need immediate. Like it's not happening all the time to you or immediate. But I said I didn't know until I started working in insurance world, until I started working in that world and learning all this. I mean, from commercial to everything, I had no clue how important that protection can be. So I understand when you say people are going through stuff where they're not doing that anymore and they're cutting that out. That's scary. I mean, because if somebody was like, I always had this insurance at this level and now it's being cut or taken, I'm like, that must be, you don't feel safe. You don't feel safe, right? You don't feel safe.
I agree. And I think that, of course,
I agree. That's right, James.
I agree. What I would love to see happen though is the system is broken here. Okay. You're going to hear a lot more about the interveners.
Oh.
that get into the rate making process, and these people are paid. Like these people are making bank
Oh, really?
by challenging insurance company rating. And it was consumer protection driven, which is never really a bad thing, right?
Right.
But sometimes it could be just overregulation, which I think we're in everywhere. It's just overregulation right now.
Yes.
Um, Especially here in California with the governor signing all these bills, and you're like, wait, what? What's happening? But I think that piece of that regulation, if that were to change or go away, I think the landscape would become much better for consumers over a period of years, while we get used to the new normals. But we'll see. I mean, the insurance commissioner, Ricardo Laura, came out and said the interveners are making this process extremely expensive and they're delaying everything. And because they're challenging a lot. And it's like, okay, we get the challenge, but at the end of the day, like, what would happen if there's just no one wanted to write fire insurance in our state anymore? What would happen?
What would happen? That's
What would
crazy.
happen? I mean, in Florida, those poor people, they have like no choice. Okay. And the choice that they have, there's few choices, but the choices that they have are not great.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, it's not my job to figure all that out, but I will say,
So, girl, I'll do all that, James. Okay,
yeah,
God.
what I will say is it's going to be more, it's going to get more painful
Yeah.
before it evens out.
I was the
Sorry.
same. Yeah. Go ahead. Just go ahead.
No, I'm done.
I'm done. That's it, bitches. No, I was like, no. I'm saying, I'm glad you said that because there's some. I mean, because right now they're calling for the demise of Hollywood also right now. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, we're going through some slumps. We definitely have some
Yeah.
problems. But I said I think it's going to even out. I think it always is, everything's cyclical, right? It has to even out at some point.
Yeah.
It has to come to some kind of head at some point. And go, okay, now it starts to stave off. Maybe it starts to go back to the other direction. Like it's just right now you go through sections. I mean, right now we're having the same problem with our taxes when it comes to tax incentives and for to shoot here, pricing on how to how they charge us for certain area. It is crazy. Yes, they're going to other places right now that's cheaper and all that stuff, but it's still Los Angeles. It's still California. California is the fourth largest economy in the world. Like it's not going to collapse.
No. But what I would like, if anyone out there who can make a difference is listening, is let's clean up our streets. I'm not talking about the unhoused. What
Right.
I'm talking about is driving down the street and seeing trash everywhere, freeway, trash everywhere. It's James, our streets used to be clean.
I know.
It's not anymore. It's embarrassing. It's like literally embarrassing. We have friends coming in from out of state all the time. I'm like, oh no, what freeway are we driving?
Same with San Francisco. I'm telling you, same in the Bay Area.
Oh,
It's just so dirty. And San Francisco is a beautiful city.
beautiful
Yeah,
city.
but during daytime, it's ugly. It's completely ugly. And again, we're not talking the unhoused, talking about just trash.
Just trash,
Or
literally trash and clothes.
or even the streets themselves. Can we fix that pothole's been there for 20 years, please?
Yes, thank you.
Like all of a sudden, because they're fixing. So what they're doing is, girl, they're fixing all the streets by the airport. So I'm like,
Of
okay,
course.
I get it. You want to make it all pretty and cutesy. But
Right.
the rest of Los Angeles, we drive the rest of Los Angeles. How many times you go to the airport? You live in
There
LA?
are it's so funny on Topanga Canyon Boulevard. There's an area where they have three potholes, and I'm so just accustomed to avoiding them. I've got this new, and you can see the tire treading. Like everyone is just kind of driving around it because we can and still stay in the lane.
I
But
know.
if you hit it square on,
Screwed.
you feel it. It's
Your car's screwed. It's screwed.
but I would still say this. I don't think that there's a more beautiful place to live where you have ocean, you have mountains, you have desert.
Yeah.
I mean, when you say you have all in one, California really does fit
Yeah.
that bill.
Yeah.
And, depending on where you are in the state, no snow, lots of skiing, there's something for everyone here. And it's a beautiful state. It's just, we need an overhaul here.
Yes,
We need to make it better.
I agree. I'm going later this week. I'm going to Northern California later this week.
So am I. Yeah.
Are you too? Oh, buddy. Where are you
I
going?
am. I'm traveling this week, going to Colorado.
Oh, funny. So we're both down.
Another beautiful state.
Oh, sure. I love Colorado. I love. Speaking of Colorado, I like the Stapleton area, which is very richy titsy out in Denver. It's very nice over
Of
there.
course.
We used to do a conference there, me and Nick all the time in Colorado. So that's why I love you some Denver. But no, I'm going to Excremento first, see my grandkids, where it's 105 degrees.
You know, it's going to be 103 degrees in the valley today,
Isn't that
James.
crazy? But then I'm going to San Francisco the next day. I'll be there all weekend working, where it's 65.
I know. That's our point. It's
That's California.
103 here, where you're going is 105, and then you go to another city and it's 65 degrees.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to leave. It's hard to leave. For me, it's hard to leave because this is all I know, born and raised.
Right.
I've never, like, unlike you, and I wish I had lived other places. I don't know that if I would appreciate California more or less.
I do now. I appreciate it more. Yeah.
Okay, but I believe that, you know, it's hard to replace California. Yes, it's broken, it's super expensive. There's all of these outliers, but you know, like I said, if we want to go play in the ocean, we can do that. If we want to go skiing, we can do that.
Yeah.
And everything in between.
Yeah, and I mean, California is long and everything. You still within a couple of hours, you can be in San Diego,
Yes.
San Francisco. You can be, and there's some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful places like Monterey,
Oh yeah.
Shasta, where it's just greenery everywhere. We're near Lake
Yeah.
Tahoe. We're not far from Vegas.
I
We're not far
know. The redwoods.
Redwoods. I mean, we're near everything. I mean, we're seriously near everything. And I when I decided to come back to LA after 22 years, I left 22 years. Um, I feel like it was a good time. I needed to be out there and doing stuff, and being in New York or being in Pittsburgh and seeing what it's like to live somewhere else and deal with. You can't get to the grocery store at certain times of night, or the restaurants close at 8, or they drive differently here, or like it's like the train is different, or dealing with snow. I mean, like de-icing my steps, and I learned all that stuff, and it's all valuable stuff. But it's made me really appreciate. Yeah, I think I'll live here. I think I'll live here in LA. That's way better. I think it's way better. And just in terms from my temperament, I think it's and being when I've traveled, going to places where it's just the humidity. I'm not a humidity fan. That's not fun. So, but, I love Florida, places like that. Just the humidity in the summer, the Indian summers in New York, and like those either. But just being at 110-degree weather in Arizona does not turn me on. It doesn't.
No, mom is visiting. Mom's here visiting.
Hi, Mom.
And she gets here and it was cooler. It's like, oh, thank God, because where they live, it's like 100, it's still 110 degrees. And so I said, well, gee, Mom, I'm looking at the forecast while we're away in much cooler weather.
Yes.
It's like 100 degrees. She's like, oh, I can't escape the heat.
Yeah. It's just oppressive. And I have a friend who works in the Caribbean, and he's there right now. He's like, all I do is sweat.
Oh yeah, no.
He goes, so I just sweat. Like, I get it.
No. Mm-mm. I'm not. It's funny. When I was younger, I played a lot of sports, and sweating was just, not a big thing. Like you just get used to sweating. And as I got older, I don't like to sweat so much. But I will say that in weather that is humid or super dry, whatever it is on either spectrum, like I've gotten so old, I cannot deal with like different weather. And it's not just like the hair thing or what the sweating. I mean, literally my allergies. Like, James, when did I get old? Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand because I don't feel my age. Do you feel your age?
Not all.
We don't feel our age.
Today
You take me out of California and I'm like, gee, where I cannot take enough Allegra. Seriously, I will OD on Allegra just to get through a vacation. and we're laughing because it's funny, but at the same time, it's like, I'm
tragic. No, I know, girl. I know. Shit, I know. I'm like, geesh. I know. I was funny because my friends showed me their pictures of Japan. Also, James, Did we tell you we went at the wrong time? That it was humid over there and it was hot. And so half the pictures I couldn't stop laughing because there's my friend Sebastian, and then there's Joe like with a fan in his hand or a towel. His face looked like he was miserable half the time.
Yeah.
So no, I like the trip. I did enjoy the trip, but he goes, it was so hot, and we were walking everywhere, and it was so. I know, I totally get it. It's, when you're younger, you don't care. When you're older, that doesn't work. Nope, doesn't work. Does not work. Does not. It does not work. And so we were laughing. We were just kind of laughing. It was like he looked at me. He was like, oh, like hi, take a picture. So we were laughing about that. But I get it, girl. I do. It sneaks up. It just sneaks up on you. All of a sudden, your tolerance level is gone.
Yes, and not just for wine.
I like for everything. Just everything just
Everything.
It goes away. It goes away. It goes away. It just goes away. I can't believe it. No, I'm glad that I was afraid though when I ate my chili late at night. Last I was like,
yes, I was going to ask.
but no, we're good.
So,
no, we're good.
So did that like land and stick in here?
No, it was good. I think because it was lighter chili, it wasn't very heavy. And I think it needs to absorb the alcohol I had. I think it did help.
Good.
It helped me this morning because normally I drink water. I always drink water. I try to drink water at the end of the night. That helped. I think it helped too a little bit, but no, I'm too old for this. I'm like, ooh. I'm like, I can't be sitting just drinking I basically had a bottle of wine to myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over a 5 hour.
It's crazy because when you and I were together in our early 30s, what's a bottle of wine?
I know. Oh, please. I drink more.
But at the end of the night, we're doing shots. You can't. I lost count. What are we talking? You know, like who? Sure. What?
Playing quarters and stuff. I remember all that stuff.
Oh my God, the quarters. Oh, and one of the year that we were in Napa, and it was my year as chairperson. My room was just ginormous, but it had this gorgeous, like long wood table, and there are certain people that come to mind immediately, but I will not say their names. Save the innocent. Yeah. And this person couldn't miss with the quarters, and he left this huge indentation in this wood table where he just kept like he was dialed in and kept. And I'm like, oh my God, I hope they're not going to charge us for this table. It was beat to shit by the end of the night. And let me say, by the end of the next morning, it was beat to shit.
Yes. I'm picturing people already.
You were there.
I was there. I know I was there. I'm picturing people already. That's the first time I played quarters. I played before. That's the first time I played. I don't know what quarters I played before. I learned
it's a fun game.
It's a fun game. It's a very fun game. It's something else. But now I'm picturing those faces right now. Yes.
Yeah. So James and I knew each other when we were young, and like we were up till 2 a.m. drinking. We were up the next day and ready to go at 8. Well, you may be a little earlier. I was a little early because
we had to get up. Nick was like, as long as you are there, you do whatever you want, James, but you better be ready to set up. We had to check the rooms. We had to make sure the rooms were set up, that the lights were there, that the LCD projectors were set up, that our instructors were showing. I had to make sure that the coffee was set up. I knew the coffee. And all that stuff was set up. I did all that. So I had to make sure that was all together. While Nick kind of he had more of the instructor stuff, but I was busy trying to do all the external. The doors were open, lights were on. So I mean, I had to make sure that I'm like, oh, I don't know how I did that. I
don't know, but you know, the funny thing is, by 3 o'clock, we were like, okay, so where's the after party tonight?
I know, but I will
didn't stop us.
But I don't know if you ever knew this, but Nick and I, there were after the first sessions would start, then we had nothing to do really after that. We were
right.
There were times. There were sometimes we had some other work to do. Sometimes but a lot of times we go back to the room to take a nap.
No, see, you're lucky. Those of us who like were on the committee had to be there the whole time. You know.
Yeah.
But I was still ready to go. Where's the party?
I wouldn't say me. I was ready. I'm like, I can't do that again. Yes, I can. I'm ready to see what's going on tonight. What's happening? And we do it. Right. But there was a couple of times in some of these events. We're able to take an hour nap. We're taking an hour nap in the middle of it.
Oh, nice.
But we had to make sure we had an alarm set because then it's like make sure for the next. Sometimes we had 2 sessions in the morning in some places. We gotta be there when the next session opens up and make sure everything is set up. And then lunchtime, and so we had to make sure. There were times when we were like, okay, we can take a little nap real quick, right? And he's like, yes, I can nap. And I'm like, I mean, knocked out. But there's still, but even that, I'm like,
yeah.
Take an hour nap and I get back up and I'm like, okay, let's get going. Let's go. Let's do the, we were up and ready and we were You couldn't tell. We put our faces on and we did our jobs.
You guys did.
It's funny, but right
Meanwhile, the committee was like trying to like stay awake in education seminars that we were totally benefiting from.
Because sometimes some of you guys have to actually be the monitor of the room, weren't you? The monitor.
Yes,
There to help the
yes,
instructor if they
yes.
need anything. Yes.
Yes, of course.
I remember that.
Of
That's so
course.
funny.
We were in service.
You're in service. I remember that.
Totally hungover.
I was a monitor a couple of times for the agribusiness conference. I remember coming like, can you fill in? And we had all these breakouts.
You have to be in the back of the room and you have to be if somebody had a question
that's right.
or,
I know.
I'm like, oh my God.
I was like, can I get Marjorie? Can I get her class? She's fun.
Yeah.
So I look at the teachers. I'm like, I'm pulling rank. I want that teacher. I like that. I'm going over to them. Because some of the teachers were a little boring, but some teachers were really good. I mean, some of them were really good. I was like, I'd rather sit there and, listen to them at the very least. I have to sit there. I do want to learn something, be entertained. And Marjorie was always good. Marjorie, that's my girl, Marjorie.
Marjorie was one of the best. Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, totally. That's my girl. So shout out to Marjorie Scully. Look her up. She was one of the better ones. I was always like, I'll sit in her class. And she was always funny. We had a good time. And she was so good at her job. She didn't even need half of them didn't need us, really, not really need
half
us.
Half of them didn't need us, but and thank goodness they really didn't need us. Because we were really in no condition to help.
I know. I'm like, oh my God, if they only knew. But the fun part, and also a little side note before we go, the part that made me laugh also was when we first got there and we'd have every conference, we had the bag stuffing.
James.
Which is tedious, but we made it fun sometimes because me and Nick and I would come in. You guys were all tired. We come in and we're like, oh, let's do this, girls. And we like making jokes, and you guys are always happy to see me and Nick. And we'd come and help.
Of course. I mean, you guys lit up the room, but I'll never forget one other. So again, to save the innocent, not naming names.
Yeah, we're not naming names.
We had an event coordinator on the state insurance side. Amazing. I love her.
Yes.
She had us painting. She had us spray painting clay pots and making flowers on them to go with the 70s themed after party. And I was like in a parking and we were hung over. and I'll never forget who I was with.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was. And I'm like, oh my God, we're spray painting in the parking lot. And I'm looking around at all these cars and I'm like, do you think we should be doing this here? No one wanted to go back to the person and say, we don't think we should be doing this here because we were more afraid of her than overspraying a car. Yeah. So we sat there and did like all of these.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Oh, so folks at home, just a quick thing. It's so everyone got a bag full of goodies from our sponsors. We had a lot of sponsors. And so everyone got, and you get these cute. I have half my tote bag still in my room somewhere.
Yeah, they're some of them are really good.
Travelers
really good. Was, I thought, the best.
Yes, I remember. I have that one.
I still have my canvas travel.
Yes, it's very thin. No, I have that one too. But anyway, so I have a bunch of. And we go to any conference, usually have bags, you get stuff.
Yeah.
But we had a bunch of main sponsors, so the materials had to be sent to the hotel. Can I remember? I got it. I'll be right back. All those boxes, open all the boxes. We had to set it up like an assembly line. And we'd all come, and it's something that everybody did. We all came together. Not but us. We all, the committee, me and Nick. And
it was like literally passing the pail, right? Yes. So like you did your stuffer, you passed it on down the assembly line. The first one I went to, I was brand new to the committee. I was invited in because somebody had dropped out. And so I was basically filling in. And people who became like dear friends, they weren't open to having somebody new in the room. And I remember getting the hardest looks in Monterey.
And oh my God.
I'm stuffing these bags and I'm looking around and no one's like super nice to me. They're all having a great time. And I'm standing there.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
I mean, fast forward the next year, it all changed. Actually, I think it changed at the after party. The first day of the event, but it was still like the weirdest thing coming in there. And I'm like, what are we doing stuffing back? People are blowing balloons up. I'm like, what is happening here? But you don't know how much work goes into putting on a conference. So the volunteers that are on the committee, shout out to everybody
Yes,
who
I agree.
spends their time. I don't care what it is or where you are. We know you're working your butt off.
Oh no, you are no. Still, that's and we're making jokes. We always make jokes on these shows about how we partied and everything, but we did really work. I mean,
Oh, it's work.
it is work. You almost have to do both, so to speak, just because you'll go
You
crazy.
do. And
If
you
you
know, you're also like the host and hostesses, right? So
right,
and the committee people, I don't know how it happens, but sometimes if you do it right, you become the cool kids.
yes,
So a lot of the attendees want to hang
yes,
out with
they
the
do.
committee because if you're fun, because you're present every time, so they can show up and somebody knows them, right? The next day you could have we had it down. We were that was like that space where it will never ever be the same again.
They won't. And you're right.
And I think that we're lucky for that to be in that like 4 year, 5 year process.
Yeah, I'll say yeah. Well, I'd heard the year before I came on, it was pretty wild. It was fun and wild too. I feel like it was like that year. Then in the year about 5, 6, yeah, about 5.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like I left 2008. Yeah, about 5 or 6 years. Yeah,
yeah. We were lucky. But
yeah.
it's work. Like we
It
showed
is
up. I
work.
didn't realize what I signed on for. It was that much work.
Yeah. So seriously, it was. I remember we were using a big room somewhere, and we had up to 20, sometimes 20
Oh
sponsors
yeah. Yeah.
that all had shit they wanted in these bags.
Oh yeah. And
That
if you
paper, all
miss
the
one,
trees
I'll
were
never
filling.
forget you can't miss.
No,
Because I don't care what it is, the sponsors had a way of knowing
they did.
my thing wasn't in the bag. I'm
Yep,
like, huh?
yep. Oh no, yeah. Or if you run out, sometimes we'd run out.
Someone we'd run out, and that's what you would say,
Yeah,
right? You didn't bring enough. Like I was in the stuffing party, and I
yeah,
know
yeah.
the assembly line. We were all there, and we ran out of your stuff. So
Oh,
sorry.
I know. It's just it's. I remember those, I'm almost tired just about from that. I remember
I know. Do I have to work right now? I want to
I
go
know.
take a
I have
nap.
to work too. I have to work too. No, but it's just funny. I look fine. I mean, we always joke about it. So there was a lot of work involved in because Nick and I we came on as kind of special guests. They wanted us to come in and help because we were the organizers and for the nonprofit division we had our own conferences we did. So we worked with Homegirl who did stuff for the state side, and we just
Yeah.
like we deferred to her. She was in charge. We deferred to her, but we came in and I think after a while we were kind of brought in to be kind of the fun, jovial. I
But
think
you guys, I think that I remember the one thing I constantly heard was James and Nick, Nick and James, James and Nick, Nick and James. These are the go-to people for all the classwork because these guys know what they're doing. That was really the only part of the conference where we didn't really work. We showed up, we announced the speaker, we monitored, the class. But other than that, we did nothing. We weren't behind a registration table signing people
that was
in and
us. That
directing
was
them.
us.
And that was all you guys. So it worked beautifully.
Yes, we did. And I'll tell you, and I handled CE for up to 27 states.
Woo, a
I remember I had to
lot of paperwork back then.
a lot back then. I know. Hopefully now it's mostly automated or on computer because it was like back then. All those Secretary of States, I got to know them. Actually, I had to call them sometimes. I got to know them. Like we're talking to Secretary of a state. I knew most of them. Yeah, it was like this meeting. I'm like, hey, girls, James from California. Oh, hi, Jay. I'm like, now you don't talk to people. But it was a really we had all the CE, so it was a really so we did do a lot, and so did Homegirl who worked on the
Yeah.
state side. There
Yes.
was a lot that we did from I tell everybody my experience is from site inspection to contract negotiation to contract signing, and my contracts were good. We got it down. I remember a couple of contracts saved us, and I remember Clark was all happy. He was like, "Oh my God, James, because you had that clause in there." I'm like, "That's right." So I have my own contracts now. Oh, I have them. I mean, I'm like, if there's something I don't know, I talk to our friend Steve Young if I have a question. I go, hi
Yes.
Stevie, can I have a question? Oh,
Steve.
Anthony.
He's
Um,
so
he's great. But I'm saying I learned all that too. Then conference planning, working with and getting all the instructors, getting all their lodging, their all their
yeah,
monies, everything. Then on sites, then post conference, we did a lot. We did, and
it's a lot.
we did 13 conferences a year. I
That's
don't
a
know how I
lot.
did it. I don't know how I did it.
Well,
13.
you were young.
There was that. I was young and unencumbered. No, that we did 13 conferences in a getaway in Palm Springs, and then we'd help you guys once a year because we didn't do Blue Ribbon, so we always did YBAC.
Right. The Young Agents Conference.
So that was good. But now it's called something else. This is called a SureFest or something now, right? Or something.
I don't know. I've lost track.
I know,
They've renamed it a few times.
Yeah, I know, me too. So, but I know Blue Ribbon still happens. That's something's in May.
Yes.
But I never did that. I never been to that one either. I never did that one. But yeah, we had 13 conferences but for us, we liked YBAC because it was fun. And secondly, we weren't in charge. Like, we're not in charge. I was like, I got to help. What do we need to do? I mean, of course, we had things they asked. We had to make decisions here and there, but like, not my conference. I'm here to have some good time and assist and have some fun. It's always a fun location.
It was always a fun location. Absolutely.
Location. So I was like, I'll do it because I was going to Des Moines, Iowa, and Hartford, Connecticut. Like, I want to go to Palm Springs. Yeah,
you want to go to the Palm Springs? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's
get some fun places. Fun places. We were in Palm Springs several times.
We were.
Yes. Yeah. Or it's like Indian Canyon or whatever. We were a couple of where we were down.
Yeah, Palm Desert, just whatever in the desert. You have a number of resorts and neighboring towns, that you could pick from. And yeah, we had fun. Vegas one year.
Oh my God, yes. Oh.
Which I don't know that they've ever been back to Vegas.
But Palm Springs, Monterey and Palm Springs were actually, I think, to me, the wildest.
Oh, yes. Because by the time I became chair, we wanted to change the conference and not be wild and party driven. We wanted to be more education focused.
I remember that.
Yeah, I think we had just gotten in trouble too many times with some of the properties that we were at.
Yes. Well, yes.
I remember police showing up once. Twice, maybe. I don't know.
Yes, I do remember that myself, so I do understand that. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it all changed.
Yes, and that's where we'll end the show. One day I'll write a book. One day, who knows? Or maybe I won't. I might just take my secrets to my grave. No. Everybody knows who they are, of course. This is Coffee and Conversation with James and
Melissa.
This is episode 94. We're getting to our 100th episode. We're talking back and forth. We got to figure out just get a shirt first of all, so we can be
a
shirt.
The most simplest thing a girl could do is go shopping, and I still haven't done it.
Haven't done that yet. So let's get a shirt. So at least I don't care what color it is. We have our shirts on together.
Yes.
But no, we're thinking of something. So we're working on that. But we have another 6 more episodes to go. So we got more stuff coming for you guys. Thank you again for listening to our show, for watching our show. We appreciate you. And just again, inspired you. If you have a friend, have coffee and conversation with them sometimes, or tea and conversation, or water, whatever it is, and have conversation. We love you.